Good morning. It's 4:15 a.m. on July 29th, Wednesday. Looks like the sky is just starting to glow. So, I'm taking a break from the psychology part. I've tried to make the cognitive control, coercive control video a couple times, and first time noise, second time I just didn't get all the pointers I wanted. So I did some more research and we're going to put that to the side. Okay. So today I want to talk about the dynamic of how God is related in conjunction with the earth. Okay. The way I see my philosophy of life, the way I see everything around me. Okay. So this is going to be one for my kids that like spirituality. Okay. There's a whole lot to this. there's a whole lot to this, but I'm going to try and keep it kind of shortened because it can go into a very involved conversation. Okay. So the first portion is going to be God as a psychotherapist, and then earth-based spirituality. Okay. And they are connected. So just hold on a minute. Okay. So for all my hippie kids, there's a couple of you. This will be right up your alley. Okay. So I'm going to read some of these things and I'll elaborate further. But just keep in the back of your mind that everything is God's creation. And everything we do out in the garden, out in the world, that's our responsibility to take care of. While at the same time, we are communing with God without even trying. So here we go. The question of whether God is a psychotherapist is debated from psychological, theological, and experimental perspectives. Psychological and anthropological perspective. Anthropologist. Jesus. Whatever. Anthropologist Tanya Luhrmann observes that in many evangelistical Christian contents, prayer functions similar to cognitive behavioral therapy. Okay, I've gone over cognitive behavioral therapy in a bunch of my other videos. Okay, and cognitive behavioral therapy is the cognitive ability to control your behavior and to fix it, and the therapy on how to progress on becoming a better person. Okay. Behaviors are often encouraged to identify negative. Believers are often encouraged to identify negative thoughts, replace them with positive, God-centered narratives, and engage in imaginical dialogues. I should say more like imagination or something like that, where God is experienced as a being, attentive listener. Sometimes I wonder who writes this shit because it doesn't make a sense. Research indicates that for those who feel a direct personal relationship with God, this practice can significantly reduce stress, loneliness, and psychiatric symptoms, effectively serving a therapeutic function. theological and spiritual perspectives. Views diverge sharply on whether God replaces or complements professional therapy. God as therapist. Some believers argue God is the ultimate healer who addresses the root causes of emotional pain, offering comfort and insight that human therapists cannot. They view therapy as a tool God uses, with therapists being instruments of divine grace. God versus therapy. Others contend that God is not a therapist because psychotherapy is rooted in secular, often atheistic theories. I don't know what that means. Freudian, Carl Jung is their reference, that contradict biblical sufficiency. This view holds that Scripture is entirely sufficient for diagnosing and healing spiritual and emotional ailments, and that relying on therapy undermines faith. Integrated view. Many modern Christian counselors and theologians argue that God works through professional therapy, suggesting that seeking psychological help is compatible with faith and can be a way to experience God's healing presence. Key distinctions. Mechanism. Therapy involves structure, regular sessions with a qualified professional using evidence-based techniques. Divine therapy is experienced through prayer, scripture, and spiritual discernment, often without a structured clinical framework. Scope. The theory addresses mental health disorders, trauma, and behavioral patterns. Spiritual practice addresses existential meaning, sin, and relationship with the divine, though the two often overlap in outcomes like reduced anxiety and increased well-being. Permanence. God is viewed as an eternal, consistent presence, whereas therapists provide temporary professional support. In summary, while God is not a clinical psychotherapist, many find that their relationship with God provides therapeutic benefits similar to professional therapy, and many believers integrate both approaches for holistic healing. Okay. So basically what this is saying here is there's a group of people that believe God is the therapist. There's a group of people in the middle that say God works through a human therapist in a divine way. And then there's the group that say psychotherapy and spirituality, religion don't mix. Okay. For those that believe in God, okay, it doesn't matter what your religious faith is, okay. In my theological research, the word God is translated in many different languages, but it all means the same thing. Okay. There is a name for God in almost every language on the earth. Okay. So if you believe in the divine, there's a God that you pray to, or you just know in your heart there's something above you spiritually. Okay. Speaking to God in your own religious context, your own language, you are seeking counsel. That's exactly what this is. Okay. When you pray, you are seeking counsel. You're asking God, you're talking to God, you're praying for others to God. Okay. You were seeking counsel. You were seeking guidance. You were seeking release from that stress. Okay. That's exactly what a psychotherapist does. Okay. Helps you work through your issues, helps find the root cause, and helps you work through those emotions that are associated with those memories. Okay. And as you work through your memories and speaking to God in your own private way, through your mind, or going out in the backyard and just talking out loud like I do. People think I'm nuts. And there's that too. When I talk to God, it's the same way I'm talking to you. I try to tell the kids the same thing. What you see is what you get. Okay? When I talk to my kids, I talk to the camera, I talk to people in person. This is the man you get. Okay? Don't put on a mask just to talk to God. You're not instantly fucking holy. And then you get on your knees and start praying. No fucking work that way. And you ain't instantly holy if you memorize much scripture neither. Just makes you look like a jackass because you're not living the way the Bible says. Basically. When you talk to God as if you're talking to yourself in a mirror. Or somebody else that you respect. That you feel that you're not putting on a persona. I don't do that. I tried that a long time ago when I was in my 20s, early 30s. I tried real hard to hide my accent. I tried real hard to act like northern people. Just couldn't do it. And, you know, that starts shining in the sun, and I can't help it. My eyes turn bright green when I get pissed. You know, with everything you go through in life, you gotta be real with yourself. Yeah. You have to literally be real with yourself in order to be real with others. Okay? You can't do this. You can't do the healing work. You can't really, truly love God and believe in God if you're wearing a mask, going to church. Suddenly you're holy on Sunday, but the rest of the week, do whatever the fuck you want. We're going to go get saved every Sunday and do it again on Wednesday. Get baptized on Wednesday and then go back twice on Sunday every week. Don't work that way. A lot of people do that. And I think it's wrong. I think it's shady, to be honest. And if you're not actually addressing mental health issues and you're hiding behind the Bible, that could be very self-destructive and could harm others as well. Because that's when you start thinking you have some sort of right to offer advice. But you're still doing the same shady behavior. You're still doing the same things. How can you positively say you can give good advice if you're doing shady shit behind the scenes? It just ain't right. So always be yourself and talk to God in your own way. Okay? Just the talking to God will alleviate stressors in your mind. Okay. You'll first work through stages of the negative stages, like the crying, upset, emotional turmoil. And then you'll start to feel differently as you talk to God. You'll start feeling that sense of relief as you get it out. Okay, it's exactly the same process that happens in the office. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it for that one. So let's go over here. We're at 15 minutes. Earth-based spirituality. Earth-based spirituality believes that the earth is a primary revelation of God, where the divine presence is immanent within all natural entities, rather than distant or transcendent. This perspective holds that God's spirit permeates creation, allowing humans to experience divine through awe, respect, and mutual connection with the natural world. Key aspects of this connection include immanence and revelation. Nature reflects the divine. Every living creature is seen as a spark of God's brilliance, making the earth a sacred trust and a mirror of God's light. Stewardship and as worship. Stewardship as worship. Authentic spirituality requires a shift from conquering the earth to reverencing it, viewing care for the planet as a moral mandate and a form of collaborating with the Creator. Interconnectedness. Humans are not separate from creation, but are intimately linked to it. Healing relationships with the earth is viewed as essential for spiritual maturity and personal wholeness. Historical and interfaith roots. This aligns with ancient traditions such as Hindu reverence for Paithvere, I don't know, or Native American sacred earth beliefs and modern ecological spirituality, which emphasizes that loving and knowing the earth is fundamental to knowing God. Okay. And the rest of this just elaborates further. I'm going to read this indigenous wisdom part. Indigenous spiritualities offer a fundamental perspective where the earth is not a resource but a living relative. Traditions such as those of the Lakota express in Litakaya Oasayat in or all are related. Oh, I know that. That's a different native language. Hold on. Ah, okay. So Lakota is a little bit more elaborate than Ojibwe. Okay, so the words that I know is Medako Ayuaset. Okay, Medako Ayuaset is basically the same thing as Medaka Oa Esayaoan. We are all related. Okay, in Ojibwe, Medako Ayuaset means we are all family, we are all connected, we are all one. It is a way to identify someone as family, as related to the tribe, to the land, to the earth. Okay. It is also a salutation and a greeting. Okay. Major side note on that one. And it goes, Navajo is Denai Bigaki means the same thing. Their languages are kind of intertwined, but they're broken into different dialects, I guess you call it. It's pretty involved. View the land at the Navajo view the land as an ancestor imbued with agency and memory. In these worldviews, spirituality is enacted through reciprocity, rituals, offerings, and sustainable practices maintain a sacred balance between humans and the natural world. The earth is a teacher and a sanctuary. And spiritual maturity is achieved by listening to and honing the spirit inherent in spirit. What? The earth is a teacher and a sanctuary, and spiritual maturity is achieved by listening to and honoring the spirits inherent in mountains, rivers, and animals. This animalistic perspective reinforces the idea that spiritual health is inseparable from ecological health. Okay, so with this, it's basically saying in every living thing, okay, every human being, every dog, cat, rat, possum, raccoon, squirrel, bird, everything, okay, all the bugs, all the critters, everything living on this planet literally is a spark of God, okay? It could be that fucking mosquito flying around, okay? That's a piece of God. And when I'm here on earth in this body, I am literally means I am God. Okay? That's not being facetious, that's not being conceited, that's not being arrogant or narcissistic. Okay? We are all a spark of God, a piece. Okay? Think of it this way. That little grain of sand. Okay? I just found it right here. You can't even see it. It's about right there. Okay. I think I lost it. Anyway. Think of your spark as just a tiny little grain of sand. Okay. We are just one tiny speck of God. We are all here as a piece of God. We are His children, but we are also a part of God's consciousness. We are all one. Okay? All life on this planet is connected. If you take the time to get to know your dog, okay? Get to know them. They have a personality. They do. Okay? It is only when an abusive dog parent treats them like they're nothing. That's when the dog doesn't have a personality. It becomes cold, quiet, or vicious and barking. If you talk to your animals, your dogs, Have a conversation, even if they're not going to respond, obviously. You get them accustomed to hearing your voice when you talking to them, you will start noticing subtly they're actually understanding what the fuck you're saying. They just don't know how to respond. And when they do, it just barking and shit. I'm saying the girls talk to me. They see something out the fence, they run up to the window, and they're just, and not even bark. They're trying to talk to me. Okay? They're like, Daddy, I see something. Okay? This is real. I've had horses do this. Okay? All you gotta do is take the time to spend with somebody. Okay? And when I say somebody, I'm not talking just humans. They are all somebodies. Okay? They are all sentient. They all have a consciousness. They all want to preserve their own life. They are all sentient and alive. Just because they don't speak English does not mean they don't understand you. Just because they have a dog body and don't have our vocal cords and our ability to stand and have a conversation and interact our way, that doesn't mean they don't understand. Multiple animal species out there can communicate with each other. And scientists don't quite understand how that's possible. But it is. My point is, all life is sentient. It's all alive. It's all a spark of God. So shadow and shine is also God. Yes, they are. Okay. Now, going further, when you go outside to the garden, go out to Squirrel's Garden in my backyard, okay? YouTube channel, Squirrel's Garden. I gotta make some videos. It's just sitting there growing. You are communing with nature. Mother Nature is Earth, and the plants that grow out of her is a part of her. While at the same time, we can measure consciousness within plants. And scientists have been doing this for about 20 years now. Okay. The plants themselves respond to interaction with humans in their own way. Okay. I've had experience in a great big greenhouse where I had vine plants like creeping Charlies and stuff like that. I would go through and water from one end of the tunnel to the other end. And I'd turn around and notice all their tentacles are reaching out for me because Daddy has the water. And I'd be walking through and you'd feel it. They're reaching. It is fucking creepy, but it's real. I used to keep on classical music or Southern blues or random country music. Just happy stuff, okay? They like that, okay? You put calming music on for dogs, my girls will go to sleep. I sit there and play the guitar. They'll come right up to me, sit at my feet, and sit there, wag their tail, smile, listen to Daddy's guitar, and I'll slow it down to a low tone. And it mellows them out. And they lay their head down, and they just listen and close their eyes. Okay. All life is sentient. You can do the same thing with plants. You can put the plants to sleep with music. Yes, you can. You can scare the shit out of them and kill them with your words. Plants are very sensitive. If you use hateful speech towards a plant, it will get sick. I go out to my garden and tell those girls I love them every day. Those fruit trees are fucking massive. I can't get them transplanted. I put them 2 trees per one 6-foot long by 3-foot wide bed when they were babies 2 years ago. They're massive. I got to transplant them to a new bed. But anyway, they're alive. They know when I'm out there. They know when I'm reaching up into their canopy and playing with them and checking them out. You know what I'm saying? The birds, the squirrels, the possum, the raccoon, the fucking field rat that keeps eating all my grapes. They all gotta live. They all gotta survive. They all gotta exist. They all have the right to be a part of this living experience. Anyway, no matter what critter you're looking at, even an ant, okay? Now, there are critters on this planet that are a pest to us and a danger to us, okay? So when you walk out the back door, out of the garage into the backyard, and there's ants, and I go fucking kill them, they're a nuisance, they're a pest, and they are very invasive. We don't have a way to communicate with them to tell them to back the fuck off, this is my spot. Because to them, the ground is all theirs. They don't care. We don't have a choice about it. Okay. So to prevent them from invading my house, I have to kill them off. Think about that. That's a conundrum. Okay. An oxymoron. Or a paradox. It's a paradox. Fucking battery warning. I can get that in a minute. Got 20% left. We're at 32 minutes anyway. So my whole point about this whole thing is that everything is alive. Okay. At some point, the material for the headphone case was a part of Earth. It was once alive. The materials that come out of Earth have Earth's energy. Mother Earth's energy. Okay? Next time you look at your pets, any animals, plants, your family, friends, neighbors, just remember there's a little piece of you in everybody. Okay? That is one of the biggest things you gotta remember. Do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. Because a piece of you is in that person. And in many cases, you'll be able to see your own reflection in somebody else's behavior. Okay? So, God is everywhere, is everything. And you can commune with God in your own way, privately or publicly in the backyard. And knowing that you're with Mother Nature. She's alive. But God is with you everywhere, present in everything that Mother Nature has. Okay? I'm going to leave this here, and I hope you all enjoyed this one. It's just a little piece of my heart. Okay? This is how I see the world through my eyes. I've always believed since I was a little boy that everything that's alive is connected, and everything that's alive is God. Okay? So, I think that's it for today. I'm going to work on my next video. Coercive control. It's a doozy. It's actually what's happening now to multiple people in my life and my kids, and Anybody else watching, probably. So, you'll have a great day. It is 4:50 a.m. on Wednesday, the 29th of July. Have a good day, kids. Start your day off good. Eat something hearty. Drink water. Later.